Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's a Monday, so we're back in the geography channel. And today I spun a wheel. And as you can see, this wheel landed on Mauritania. So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where Mauritania forms an empire, which means they're going to try to get stronger and bigger and go to war and be powerful. That's basically it. Make sure to like and subscribe because we take a lot of work making these videos, so I'd really appreciate it. And in these empire videos, the country that's forming the empire is usually a bit buffed because they wouldn't really be able to do what they're gonna do on their own. So I hope you guys understand. Also, all alliances like NATO and stuff and like CSTO, all the defensive alliances are gonna be disbanded today because they made these alliances because war is not accepted in the modern day. So we are going to be disbanding them. Now, Mauritania is an African country, so I'm not really familiar with Africa, but I'm gonna search it all up, like the relations in Africa, and I'm gonna see what is Mauritania's 10 main African allies and what is Mauritania's 10 main African enemies. So Mauritania's capital is Nouakchott, which in the map is situated here. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well, never heard of it, but let's respect them. And now let's just get into this. I don't really know if this is accurate, but here are the 10 closest allies of Mauritania. Number 1, France. Due to historical ties from the colonial period, France remains a significant ally, providing economic aid and military support. Then, Morocco. Neighboring Mauritania, Morocco shares cultural and economic ties with cooperation in areas like trade and security. Number 3, Algeria. Another important neighbor, Algeria collaborates with Mauritania on security issues, particularly regarding the Sahara and counterterrorism efforts. Next, Senegal. Sharing a border with the Senegal River, the two countries have strong economic and environmental cooperation. 5. The USA. The US provides military aid and training, particularly in counterterrorism efforts, as part of the broader Sahel region initiatives. 6. China. China is a major economic partner, investing in infrastructure and mining projects in Mauritania. 7. Saudi Arabia. As part of the broader Arab world, Saudi Arabia has economic and political ties with Mauritania, often providing financial aid. 8. The United Arab Emirates. The UAE is involved in various investments and development projects in Mauritania. 9. The European Union. The EU, as a bloc, supports Mauritania through various development and trade agreements. How do I color the entire EU? I'm not putting all of Europe loves Mauritania. I mean, all of the EU loves Mauritania, but let's just keep this in mind. France, through France, and the next country we're gonna say, Spain. Due to geographic proximity and shared interest in controlling illegal migration and fishing rights, Spain maintains a collaborative relationship with Mauritania. So yeah, France and Spain are leading the EU for Mauritania. These alliances reflect a mix of historical ties, geographical proximity, and strategic interest, particularly in security and economic developments. Now, here are all the countries that ChatGPT told me that Mauritania would invade if they were forming an empire. Number 1, Western Sahara, or the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. Given the historical involvement and the disputed nature of this territory, Mauritania might aim to control Western Sahara for the strategic and territorial gains. 2, their friend Senegal. Due to historical tensions and its geographic proximity, Mauritania might target Senegal to control the Senegal River and enhance influence in West Africa, even if they have ties right now. 3, Mali. Controlling Mali could be strategically important for Mauritania to secure its borders and extend influence over the Sahel region. 4, Morocco. Despite current alliances, Mauritania might target Morocco to dominate North Africa and resolve historical tensions over Western Sahara. 5. Algeria. A powerful Mauritania might seek to challenge Algeria to control resources and expand its influence in North Africa. 6. Guinea. With its rich mineral resources, Guinea could be a target for Mauritania to control valuable natural resources. 7. Côte d'Ivoire. As an economic hub in West Africa, controlling Côte d'Ivoire would provide significant economic benefits and strategic positioning. 8. Gambia. Given its small size and strategic location within Senegal, Mauritania might target Gambia to consolidate control over the region. 9. Liberia. Liberia's coastal position and resources could be attractive for Mauritania's expansionist ambitions. 10. Niger. Controlling Niger could provide strategic depth and access to valuable uranium resources. So these are all the countries that ChatGPT says Mauritania could invade. I made it like an X so it's easier to see. So I'm also going to be doing an X to these other countries so they're not red all the time. Mauritania is going to invade. That's for Africa. I'm sorry, I don't know it all. So the first thing Mauritania is gonna do is they're gonna go for the tiniest little country using a nice resource they have, boats. So with their boats, they're gonna expand through their western African coast, and this is all of their naval territory. So their navy is going to cross into open sea, and they're going to go near little mighty old Gambia. They're gonna surround Senegal's naval troops. They like go through the Senegal River instead of through your naval territory. They don't really do a naval blockade. They allow the ships to pass and stuff. But this happens to the Gambia. This literally cripples the Gambia because they're literally based around the Gambia River and nobody hears them when they cry for help because they're literally surrounded. I'm pretty sure Senegal and the Gambia are allies, but let's say Senegal's paid because Senegal, I think they're more friends with Mauritania. I don't know. Well, troops from Mauritania land in western Gambia right through the mouth of the Gambia River, and they cross around the river. And did you know that Gambia is only based around a river? And then they capture the whole river for themselves, and Gambia is forced to surrender. In this peace treaty, the Gambia gets fully annexed by Mauritania. The next thing Mauritania does is backstab their first ally. Get ready, because this is only their first backstab. So their first aggressive move here is a naval blockade over Senegal's full coast. And because Mauritania has huge naval supremacy over Senegal, so this is what they do. So the first thing Mauritania does is be smart. This is Senegal's capital of Dakar. Yeah, they immediately capture the Senegalese capital and they make a big advancement from there. They try to connect with the Gambia and they manage to do it. And so they expand their push and they manage to connect back with the mainland. And they have a big push coming from Gambia and they immediately surround the Gambia so it cannot be touched. Then they make a huge spearhead from this push right next to Gambia and from their mainland to cut Senegal into two. They make a push from the north and Senegal eventually surrenders from the north. And then the south tries to fight to the end, but then they lose their only piece of coastline and they're forced to surrender. Again, in this peace treaty, Senegal is completely annexed into Mauritania. And the next country they're going to be invading is Western Sahara. And here's how they're going to qualify it with Morocco, because Morocco wants Western Sahara to themselves too. So they go to this war, and Algeria also has a claim over Western Sahara. So here you go. But since they're not smart, just before they signed the declaration of war, they completely surrounded Western Sahara with their navy. So first things first, Morocco addressed their claims over Western Sahara. This is all that they control right now. And Mauritania is like, no, I'm planning to get land from this, and this is all that Algeria wants. So Mauritania just go, I don't care. I don't give a beep. and they immediately invade all the vacant territory before declaring war on the purple team, and their strong buffed military push all around Western Sahara. They kind of get stalemated here in the north, but this place in the south, they can cut it off and they get the beautiful hotel and resorts that I've seen on Instagram. And at the end, Morocco organized a withdrawal of troops from Western Sahara, and then it's time for Mauritania's full-scale invasion of the purple team. So they go deep into Morocco here, and they try to isolate the two countries, and they make a big surrounding in the Sahara Desert that no one sees, so it just disappears. And so troops can't go through here. They just move throughout the border, which is really highly patrolled, and they stalemate over here. Then Algerian troops can manage to push Mauritanian forces deeper out of the Sahara Desert, and they end in a stalemate, and then they meet for peace. So Mauritania go completely badass. In this peace treaty, they get all of Western Sahara for themselves, and they take most of Morocco's Sahara region from Morocco and a bit of the coastline here. Plus, they've got most of the border. They've got the entire border between Morocco and Algeria, splitting them up, and they got a bit of Algeria's Sahara over here. So they've gone badass. So I removed the little X's because they're weird, but I have it all in mind. After peace with these crippled Algeria and Morocco, they immediately just go and declare war on Guinea. I know you thought it was going to be one of the big countries, but not yet. So then the Mauritanian Navy cross over to Guinea, and again they surround the capital, and before they do that thing where they capture the capital immediately, they kind of run into Guinea-Bissau's waters, and Guinea-Bissau is ready to fight, so they just go, oh hell no, and they join Guinea's team, thinking they would be a distraction towards Mauritania. So immediately, the Mauritanian Navy completely capitulate the Guinea-Bissauan Navy, and Guinea-Bissau was not ready for this. As Mauritania go boom, boom, boom from the coastline, they managed to capture Conakry, the capital of Guinea, and Sierra Leone, they try to fight until death, but then they're surrounded, no more humanitarian aid, they're forced to surrender. This later also happens with Guinea, as Mauritania literally surround them from all sides. They commit some horrible humanitarian crises. They split the country in two, and the parliament surrenders. And again, in this peace treaty, the badass peace treaty, Guinea and Sierra Leone get completely captured, annexed by Mauritania. The Mauritanian emperor thinks to himself, I kind of want to invade Mali, but Mali's a bit too strong for me right now. So I have Mali on more sides, and I get more power throughout this area. Just think to yourself that Mauritania wait like about 5 years between each war minimum. Okay, their navy literally suffocate Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. And Giga Chad troops literally spearhead through Sierra Leone, capitulating it. They go through the north over here in Liberia, and they get all their coastline, and they cut their border off from Côte d'Ivoire, and Liberia surrenders. And then Côte d'Ivoire lose their capital in the coastline, which I think it's in the coastline. If it's not, please bear with me. Give me a break. And then the rest of the country is captured, so they capitulate. And in this peace treaty, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Côte d'Ivoire get annexed into Mauritania. If you don't know why I call it Côte d'Ivoire and not Ivory Coast, is because this country over here, if you didn't know, this country used to be a French colony in the 1900s, and in French, the Ivory Coast is Côte d'Ivoire, and the French government called it the Ivoire or Côte d'Ivoire colony, and when Côte d'Ivoire got its independence, they announced that they'd rather be called Côte d'Ivoire instead of Ivory Coast. So that's why I'm gonna follow and respect the way they want to be called, okay? So yeah, the Ivory Coast is basically from Cote d'Ivoire through Ghana, Togo, and Benin, and I guess Nigeria too. This is the Ivory Coast, okay? This is Cote d'Ivoire. With American and European help, I mean, like Spain, France mostly, and then the rest of the EU, Mauritania quickly captured the capital of Mali, Bamako, and the European Union and the USA knew that this was gonna happen. Terror groups or terrorist organizations capture all around Mali, and they grow on Mali like parasites. I mean, in 1 week. Quick. So quickly, NATO get involved to stop terrorist activities in Mali. They all send troops for Mali to help capture the rest of living Mali. And then they declare war on the Purple Country. And this terrorist country cannot resist as they're captured. Next, they declare war on the Orange Country, which is secretly getting supplied by Niger's terrorist activities. NATO explains they have to save Niger from the same thing, and they declare war on Niger. Troops from NATO and Mauritania capitulate all of Mali, and they start heading towards Niger. The Purple Country get aligned with Niger and perform many terroristic activities around the area, and they're declared war on by NATO and Mauritania. The rest of Blue Mali is capitulated, and they come in from Niger's west, and they capture the livable south, like mildly livable south, and they're forced to put actual troops through the Niger Sahara Desert, and until the last troop is there, they've won the combat with Niger. Next, they declare war on the Green Country, on the Green terrorist group, and it gets captured quickly. Lastly, they declare war on the Green Country, on the Yellow Country, and the last troops goes through the desert, and they manage to do it at the end. Now that Mali and Niger are captured, let's take a look at this peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, Mauritania and NATO split Mali and Niger, and you can see that they've got a lot of Mali to themselves now. That was a horrible representation, and this is a combined NATO protection zone. This is Spain, which is also a NATO, like this is all NATO too. Like this is basically all NATO, but this is controlled primarily by Spain. This area is controlled by the USA, and this deserted area, like it's literally at the beginning of the Sahara, this is going to France, so that's why it's a bit bigger than the other ones. And the rest is combined, controlled by NATO, mostly by the UK and Italy. Mostly by the UK, Italy, and Germany. After a few years, this thing here is a puppet state of Mauritania. It's basically called Mali, but they're not annexed into Mauritania. For 10 years, the peace treaty does not allow Mauritania to do anything more than being an ally and choosing the government and the laws of Mali. So after a long time, guess who's back? Mauritania declare war on Morocco. But first, obviously, their navy goes around, and they do not touch this strait because they're not allowed, but they get to the tip of it. So troops from this northern Sahara area cross into Morocco, and when Morocco is crying hard for help, Algeria joined the war. Surprise! And they decide to try to cut Mauritania off from this border that Morocco and Algeria once had, but Mauritania can easily cut this one off, and they lose a lot of troops. Immediately, Mauritania pulls a lot of troops from Morocco and literally push all of Algeria's northern coast off, and they capture Algiers. Algeria, literally the biggest country in Africa, surrenders. Wait, I think it's now Mauritania, right? At the same time, after a lot of assimilation from NATO, and after a friendly coup in Niger, Spain, France, as long as the US and NATO, mostly France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and the UK, withdraw their troops from Niger and give give them independence. Immediately, Niger fall under Chinese influence and block the West. So Mauritania gets permission from the West to invade Niger. Also, it's been 10 years, actually 11, so they are now permitted to do whatever they want with their little colony over here. And Niger, they actually don't know what to do. They're stuck, and again, they get invaded by the West. The only thing that's stopping Mauritania from joining NATO is them being an empire and not a democracy. Because if they were a democracy, it would be easy. The Algerian government fled to Morocco and still claim that Algeria has not capitulated and long live Algeria and stuff. So to teach them a lesson, Mauritania captured Tangier, which I think is one of the capitals of Morocco, Casablanca, and Marrakesh. Peace treaty time. I guess you guys would have already known what would be this peace treaty. Literally Mauritania annexing all of these countries. Weird when you think about it, right? Okay, now let's take a look at this flag. Oh my god, why am I rocking it so much? I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye!